Cause Lori, boy, she be in my, I can't make no mistakes. I can't make sense. I saw one of her exes somewhere at a game somewhere, and I shook his hand. Boy, I can't even touch his no more. I better not acknowledge him or look at him or nothing no more. So I'm off limits. If you are ex, your ex is my ex too. That's the rule. The rule in our house is any boy that's an ex, he's now my ex too. I must hate him like we was dating. That's.
See, I got to be real careful because Lori boy, she be in my, look, I can't make no mistakes. I can't afford to make no sense of this madness because if I look at the wrong person at a game, I'm off limits. That's the rule in our house now, right? If he's your ex, he is officially my ex too. And we must hate him like we were the ones getting dumped. But brace yourselves because what just leaked out of the Harvey camp is too messy to ignore. Word is, the exact moment Michael B. Jordan made history and secured his Oscar victory, Lori Harvey tried to dial his number to congratulate him. And MBJ? He straight up sent her call dead to voicemail. No text back, no reply, just cold, absolute luxury grade silence. And right now, people are saying Lori is taking that rejection incredibly hard. Like, completely down bad, crying behind closed doors while the entire internet celebrates her biggest fumble in Hollywood history. But wait, wasn't Lori the one always saying she dates on her own terms and moves how she wants? So what changed now? Why is an Academy Award victory causing a literal meltdown in her family? Before everyone picks sides, we need to rewind and look at how this power dynamic completely flipped. Because the real story behind this secret reaction just got blown wide open. And the person leaking the details is coming from the last place you'd expect. See, to understand why this voicemail rejection is causing an absolute earthquake in Hollywood, we have to look at the players involved and the heavy reputation that precedes them. Lori Harvey didn't just become a household name overnight for no reason. She has systematically built an empire based on being the ultimate uncatchable prize, the woman who enters a relationship, sets the internet on fire, and then leaves exactly when she chooses. But this time, the script got completely flipped on her, and the man she supposedly left in the dust is now holding the ultimate golden ticket in the entertainment industry. Michael B. Jordan didn't just casually stroll up to the podium to collect that Oscar. He earned it through sheer, unadulterated focus after going through one of the most publicly scrutinized breakups in recent memory. When they were together from late 2020 to mid-2022, it wasn't just a regular celebrity fling. It was a high-stakes cultural phenomenon where everyone assumed Lori was the one holding all the cards. But the streets are talking, and they are saying that the undefeated champ of Hollywood dating has finally met her match in the coldest way possible. For years, the narrative surrounding Lori was that she was untouchable, moving from one high-profile eligible bachelor to the next without ever breaking a sweat or showing a single ounce of regret. From rappers to future Hall of Famers, her dating resume looked like a VIP guest list at the Met Gala, and she always managed to walk away with her reputation enhanced and her social capital higher than before. When she pulled the plug on Michael back in 2022, the collective internet agreed that she was simply protecting her peace, refusing to be tied down to the traditional marriage narrative before she was ready. But fast forward to right now, and that exact same pride is reportedly what's causing a massive, catastrophic meltdown behind the closed doors of the Harvey mansion. The controversy isn't just about an unanswered phone call. It is about the total collapse of a carefully manufactured public image. For the past few years, the internet has watched Lori move with absolute precision. But this sudden historical achievement by her most celebrated ex has completely shattered the illusion of her total control. People are pointing out that while she has been spotted navigating lukewarm relationships and trying to maintain her status as the ultimate IT girl, Michael was quietly putting in the type of legendary work that separates the temporary celebrities from the immortal icons. Now that the world is bowing down to his talent, the whispers from within her own camp suggest that the reality of what she walked away from has finally set in, and it is hitting her like a freight train. To make matters worse, you have to look at the past incidents that have given certain members of this circle a reputation for being master coordinators of public perception. Whenever Lori transitioned out of a relationship in the past, the media rollout was always flawless, always painting her as the empowered woman who simply chose herself over the pressures of a demanding partner. But the internet has a very long memory, and people are starting to look back at the sheer amount of effort it took to keep her image spotless during the aftermath of the 2022 split. Back then, the narrative shifted almost instantly from a mutual breakup to heavy, unverified rumors that aimed to tarnish Michael's golden boy reputation, almost as if someone was trying to preemptively punish him for not playing along with the family rules. It is no secret that in the world of high society commentary, a silence that lasts too long is always treated as an admission of guilt or a tactical retreat. While Michael was out here giving masterclass performances and elevating his status to a level where he can command whatever price tag he wants, the Harvey camp remained suspiciously quiet about his rapid ascent. But you can only hold back the floodgates for so long before the internal pressure causes someone on the inside to start talking to the blogs. The streets are saying that the tension inside that blended family has reached a boiling point, because certain siblings are completely tired of the entire universe revolving around one person's romantic timeline. This brings us directly into the deep, dark underbelly of the leaked reports that are currently spreading through the industry grapevine like wildfire. Anonymous sources, allegedly connected to the household staff and inner circles, are claiming that the atmosphere following the awards ceremony was nothing short of a mourning period. Instead of celebrating the monumental achievement of a black man in Hollywood, the house was reportedly locked down in a state of high anxiety, with emergency phone calls flying back and forth between publicists and family advisors. The leaked details suggest that Lori didn't just casually try to text a quick congratulations. She allegedly made an intentional, high-effort attempt to re-establish contact, believing that their shared history would guarantee her an exclusive window into his moment of triumph. But instead of the warm, respectful reception she might have anticipated, she was met with the digital equivalent of a brick wall. The automated voicemail greeting was the only thing waiting for her on the other end of that line, signaling to the entire world that the door she thought she could leave cracked open had been slammed shut and deadbolt. The psychological fallout from that single moment is what is currently fueling the most intense speculation online, with insiders claiming that the realization of being completely irrelevant to his new reality is what broke the camel's back. For someone who has spent her entire adult life being the center of attention wherever she steps, being relegated to a missed call notification on an A-lister's crowded phone is a level of rejection she was completely unprepared to handle. This brings a whole new meaning to the phrase moving in silence, because while one side was busy living for the cameras, the other side was busy securing a legacy that cannot be erased by a change in the social media algorithm. The public is now dissecting every single past interview where Michael hinted at his desire for a real foundational legacy, realizing that he wasn't just talking for the sake of publicity. He was giving a roadmap of exactly where he was headed, and anyone who wasn't willing to match that long-term, high-level energy was simply going to be left behind in the archives of his past. The contrast between his current monumental success and the frantic damage control happening on the other side is creating a beautifully chaotic spectacle for the culture to witness. What makes this specific moment so incredibly volatile is the fact that the public is no longer buying into the usual public relations playbook that has protected the family image for nearly a decade. In the past, a few well-timed Instagram posts or a casual mention on a daytime talk show would be more than enough to redirect the narrative and make everyone forget about any potential fumbles. But an Oscar victory is an undeniable, concrete reality that completely overrides any internet gossip or manufactured distraction. You cannot spin a historic Best Actor win into anything other than absolute dominance, and that is exactly why the old tactics are failing so spectacularly right now. The leaked audio descriptions and insider messages indicate that the frustration within the family is heavily directed at how public this entire situation has become. It is one thing to suffer a private setback, but it is an entirely different beast when the entire internet is actively creating compilation videos comparing your current dating life to your ex-boyfriend's highest career achievement. The level of public mockery has reached an all-time high, with commentators pointing out that the strategy of dating on your own terms only works if the people you leave behind don't end up outgrowing you in every measurable metric. As the hours tick by, more details are emerging about the intense strategy meetings that are reportedly taking place to figure out how to counter this narrative before it permanently alters her brand value. When you are positioned as the ultimate aspirational figure for a generation of young women, showing signs of being genuinely distressed over an ex-partner's success is considered a major corporate liability. The beauty brands, the modeling contracts, and the lifestyle features all rely on the illusion that she is completely unbothered, always moving forward, and never looking back at what used to be. But the mask has officially slipped, and the public is eating up every single crumb of this unfolding drama, because it represents the ultimate shift in power. For years, the narrative was dictated by one side. But through pure talent and a refusal to engage in petty media games, the other side has managed to completely seize control of the conversation without saying a single word to the press. The silent treatment has proven to be more devastating than any diss track or tell-all interview could ever dream of being, leaving the entire Harvey camp scrambling for answers in the dark. And this is where the plot thickens into something straight out of a prime-time television drama, because the calls are officially coming from inside the house. The narrative is no longer just about two attractive celebrities who couldn't make it work due to a massive age gap or differing life goals. It has transformed into a full-blown investigation into family loyalty, hidden resentments, and the toxic byproduct of extreme public privilege. The whispers are getting louder, the sources are getting more specific, and the timeline of events is starting to paint a picture that contradicts everything we thought we knew about the inner workings of Hollywood's most visible blended family. The sheer volume of leaked information indicates that this wasn't just an accidental slip of the tongue by a loose-lipped associate. It feels like a calculated, deliberate extraction of truth designed to level the playing field once and for all. People are analyzing the exact wording of the reports, looking for clues as to who benefits the most from letting the world know that the unbothered queen was actually up until 4 in the morning crying over a man who used to treat her like royalty. And all signs are pointing toward a deep-seated domestic rivalry that has been simmering under the surface of those perfect holiday photos for a very, very long time. The breakdown of this Hollywood empire doesn't stop at the mansion gates, because the leaked information reveals a level of internal warfare that makes the public drama look like child's play. According to these high-level anonymous leaks, the internal security of the family brand has completely dissolved, revealing a world of lavish spending, intense gatekeeping, and an absolute obsession with controlling the narrative. Sources claim that when the news of the unanswered call hit the inner circle, it triggered an immediate digital lockdown within the compound, with staff being forced to hand over their devices to ensure no further screenshots of frantic text messages could make their way to the media outlets. The details coming out of these alleged leaks paint a picture of absolute chaos, suggesting that the lifestyle of pure luxury and unbothered elegance is actually a high-pressure corporate operation that requires constant maintenance. Insiders are whispering that the family spent thousands of dollars on immediate public relations consultations within hours of the awards ceremony, desperately trying to figure out a way to dilute the historic news with a manufactured distraction. Rumors are circulating that there were pitches to leak a fake romance, a surprise business launch, or even a sudden overseas trip just to pull the Google search algorithms away from the word fumble. But the public is no longer easily distracted by a sudden vacation photo or a new clothing line, especially when imaginary sources from within the industry are beginning to speak out with devastating clarity. One alleged entertainment insider stated that the industry has secretly watched this dynamic for years, knowing that the power balance would eventually shift once real artistic merit went up against pure social media influence. The source reportedly claimed that in the real rooms of Hollywood where major checks are signed, a historic trophy carries a level of weight that no amount of Instagram followers can ever compete with, effectively changing how both parties are viewed by the elite power brokers. The public reactions under every single entertainment blog have turned into an absolute war zone, with fans and critics alike breaking down the situation with savage humor and endless analysis. Commentators are pointing out the supreme irony of the situation, noting that for years, the narrative was crafted to make it look like one side was doing a favor by staying in the relationship, only for the other side to ascend to the literal mountaintop of global recognition. The comment sections are flooded with people stating that the ultimate revenge in the entertainment industry is not a public argument, but a level of success that forces your past to acknowledge your presence while you completely ignore theirs. To make the breakdown even more intense, the leaked reports suggest that the lavish lifestyle and the appearance of complete financial invincibility might be facing its own set of internal pressures due to these shifting dynamics. In the world of high-profile endorsements, brand value is heavily tied to the perception of being the ultimate trendsetter, who is always ahead of the curve. If the public collective begins to view a prominent figure as someone who walked away from a historic legacy out of short-sightedness, it alters the mathematical formula that luxury brands use to calculate endorsement deals, causing a potential slide in corporate interest. Anonymous statements from alleged former employees suggest that the management style within the camp has always relied on an extreme level of control, where every single associate is required to sign strict non-disclosure agreements just to walk through the front door. The leak of Lori's late-night breakdown is being treated as a historic security breach for the family, with investigators within their team trying to trace the digital footprint of the messages to see exactly how a private emotional moment became public property within minutes of occurring. The speculation has grown so loud that even seasoned industry commentators are chiming in, suggesting that the situation highlights the hidden cost of living a life entirely designed for public consumption. When you allow the world to witness every single victory, every single luxury vacation, and every single high-profile romance, you effectively give the public a subscription to your downfalls as well. The current internet reaction is being described as a collective realization that the rules of engagement have changed, and the old playbook of remaining silent while your team pushes background narratives is no longer working. As the investigative findings continue to trickle out through various backchannels, the focus has shifted heavily toward the sheer contrast in how both sides spent their time following the 2022 separation. While one side was heavily featured in paparazzi photos outside exclusive restaurants and nightclub venues, the other side was reportedly locked in intense acting workshops, navigating exhausting film sets, and demanding the absolute highest level of discipline from their creative teams. This contrast is what the public is latching onto, using it as a case study in what happens when temporary hype goes up against long-term professional execution. The imaginary quotes attributed to close associates of the award winner suggest that his camp is finding the entire situation mildly amusing, but completely irrelevant to their current trajectory. An alleged source close to the actor's production team stated that his phone has been ringing off the hook with congratulations from world leaders, iconic directors, and studio heads, meaning a missed call from the past wouldn't even register on his radar. The source allegedly added that when you are busy planning your directorial debut and finalizing multi-million-dollar studio deals, the romantic drama of 4 years ago feels like an entire lifetime away. This total lack of acknowledgement from the winning camp is what is reportedly driving the internal panic on the other side to absolute heights. In Hollywood, a public feud is actually manageable because it keeps both names in the exact same headline, creating a twisted form of equality. But when one side completely refuses to engage, treats the past like a non-issue, and moves with the dignity of a statesman, it leaves the other side completely stranded in the court of public opinion, looking desperate for a connection that no longer exists. The public reaction has also started to highlight the role of the parental figures in this unfolding drama, with users dissecting past statements made on national television regarding the relationship. People are digging up old clips where the family patriarch openly praised the actor's character, contrasting those warm moments with the cold, cryptic social media messages that followed the breakup. The internet is calling out the sudden shift in energy, suggesting that the family's current frustration stems from knowing they publicly co-signed a man who ended up becoming one of the most powerful figures in the modern film era. The leaked data also hints at a growing anxiety regarding future public appearances, with fashion coordinators and publicists reportedly arguing over how to handle the upcoming red carpet season. For an IT girl, entering a room where your ex-partner is the guest of honor presents a massive tactical nightmare, as every single camera angle will be monitored to catch a glimpse of an awkward interaction or an avoided glance. The team is reportedly trying to map out event schedules to ensure that their paths never cross, a task that is becoming increasingly difficult now that his presence is mandatory at every single top-tier industry gathering. The narrative of the unbothered queen has officially been replaced by a much more complex, chaotic, and human reality that the internet refuses to stop talking about. Every single hour brings a new wave of TikTok analysis, YouTube deep dives, and Twitter threads, with thousands of people acting as digital detectives to verify the validity of the family leaks. The consensus across the board is that the situation has crossed the line from a simple celebrity breakup into a full-blown cultural lesson on power, pride, and the unpredictable nature of Hollywood success. The internal friction between the biological siblings and the stepchildren within the household is also receiving a massive amount of public scrutiny, with users pointing out how money and fame can exacerbate old domestic wounds. The leaked messages imply that some members of the family feel the constant cleanup of one sibling's image has cost the family too much collective credibility over the years. This internal division is making it almost impossible for the camp to present a united front to the media, as different factions within the family are reportedly feeding different narratives to their preferred media contacts. This brings the entire investigation to a critical juncture, where the old public relations strategies must either be completely abandoned or completely overhauled to survive the pressure. The public is actively waiting for the next move, watching every single social media account associated with the family for any sign of a response, a confirmation, or a direct clapback. But with every second of continued silence from the Oscar winner, the weight of the rejection grows heavier, setting the stage for a massive public relations fallout that could permanently redefine the family's standing in the entertainment hierarchy. The fallout from this sudden shift in power is already moving beyond internet commentary and heading straight toward real career consequences. Industry analysts are looking at the mathematics of Hollywood value, and they are openly predicting a major public relations crisis for the Harvey brand if this narrative continues to dominate the headlines. In the high-stakes world of celebrity partnerships, your currency is entirely based on your desirability and your perceived social standing. When the public starts viewing you as the person who stepped away from a historic legacy out of short-sightedness, it alters how corporate brands calculate your market value. There are already whispers circulating in the fashion and beauty industries that several luxury brands are keeping a very close eye on the social media sentiment surrounding Lori right now. A prominent brand strategist recently stated behind closed doors that an IT girl relies on the illusion of being completely untouchable and always ahead of the curve. If the collective consensus becomes that she is actually distressed over her past choices, it chips away at the premium, unbothered aesthetic that she has used to secure massive corporate contracts over the last few years. This brings us to the potential structural shift within her business team, as rumors of emergency management probes begin to surface. When a major public relations crisis threatens the financial stability of a celebrity brand, it is completely normal for behind-the-scenes adjustments to take place. Insiders are speculating that high-level publicists might be facing intense pressure, with some industry veterans suggesting that a total overhaul of her representation could be on the horizon if they cannot successfully change the narrative before the next major red carpet season. The public backlash has reached a point where it is no longer just a trend. It is becoming a permanent part of the digital landscape. Every single time a new milestone is announced for the historic award winner, the comment sections are instantly flooded with references to the Harvey family's alleged reaction. This constant association is creating a massive hurdle for her team, who are trying desperately to pivot the conversation toward her independent business ventures, skincare lines, and modeling features, only to find the audience completely hyper-focused on the drama. To make matters even more complicated, there is heavy talk about the long-term social consequences within the elite Hollywood circles. When an actor reaches the absolute peak of the industry, becoming only the sixth black man to hold that specific honor, their circle changes instantly. They are no longer just a popular actor. They are cultural royalty, invited to the most exclusive, gate-kept events in the world. For someone whose entire brand relies on having access to the highest levels of high society, realizing that your past actions have permanently locked you out of that specific inner circle is a massive professional setback. The internet is also speculating about a hypothetical financial crisis within the family's media empire, if this negative press begins to affect their broader corporate relationships. When a family operates as a collective brand, the public perception of one member naturally bleeds into the businesses of the others. If the narrative continues to paint the household as an environment of internal jealousy, leaks, and strategic damage control, it can create hesitation among major television networks, advertisers, and corporate sponsors who prefer to stay far away from messy domestic disputes. This total breakdown of public support has left the camp in an incredibly defensive position, forcing them to rely on outdated public relations tactics that simply cannot compete with the reality of an Academy Award victory. The strategies that worked back in 2022 to protect a socialite's image are completely useless in the current entertainment landscape, where real artistic execution is heavily favored over superficial social media hype. The public is demanding substance, and the lack of a clear, authentic response from her camp is only making the backlash grow louder by the hour. As the pressure continues to mount, the world is watching closely to see how the family patriarch will handle the situation on his own massive media platforms. Will there be a strategic interview, a highly coordinated family photo shoot, or a sudden public statement designed to restore the appearance of absolute unity? Or will the internal division between the biological siblings and the stepchildren continue to widen, leading to even more devastating leaks that expose the reality of what goes on behind those guarded mansion gates? See, at the end of the day, this situation has completely transcended the boundaries of a standard celebrity breakup story. This is a definitive turning point in modern pop culture, a moment where the invisible strings of public relations completely snapped under the weight of a historic achievement. Michael didn't need to write a caption, he didn't need to do an interview, and he certainly didn't need to answer that phone call. His historic victory did all the talking for him, leaving his past completely stranded in the court of public opinion, while he steps into absolute immortality. But now it is officially your turn to weigh in on this absolute madness. What do you think about this leaked reaction coming out of the Harvey camp? Do you believe Lori is genuinely feeling the weight of the fumble now that the power dynamic has completely shifted on a global stage? And how do you feel about her stepsister Brandy, allegedly being the one to let these private details slip to the media outlets? Is the internet taking the criticism way too far? Or is this just the natural consequence of living your life entirely for the cameras? Drop your thoughts, your theories, and your analysis in the comments below. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with everyone who is following this drama, because the fallout from this historic victory is far from over. See you in the next breakdown. Look, at the end of the day, this situation has completely transcended the boundaries of a standard celebrity breakup story. This is a definitive turning point in modern pop culture, a moment where the invisible strings of public relations completely snapped under the weight of an undeniable historic achievement. Michael didn't need to write a long caption, he didn't need to do a messy interview, and he certainly didn't need to answer that phone call. His historic victory did all the talking for him, leaving his past completely stranded in the court of public opinion, while he steps into absolute immortality. But now it is officially your turn to weigh in on this absolute madness. What do you think about this leaked reaction coming out of the Harvey camp? Do you believe Lori is genuinely feeling the weight of the fumble now that the power dynamic has completely shifted on a global stage? And how do you feel about her stepsister Brandy, allegedly being the one to let these private details slip to the media outlets? Is the internet taking the criticism way too far? Or is this just the natural consequence of living your life entirely for the cameras? Drop your thoughts, your theories, and your analysis in the comments below. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with everyone who is following this drama, because the fallout from this victory is far from over. See you in the next breakdown.